Okay, we are back with another review, and today we got some Mattel Masters of the Universe pickups. We got some boxes from eBay, so without further ado, let's hop right into this review. And let's start off with the boxes from eBay, and then we'll move into the full-on review with the Mattel Masters of the Universe figures. So let's check out what we got here. We'll go with the smaller two boxes first, and then I imagine that larger one is a little crushed. So you see it right there, it's a little crushed. So we'll see what we're getting into with that one. But oh, nice. Okay, cool. This is this is a Marvel Collector Core. What is this? Oh, it's a thank you note. Oh, that's nice. You're 5 stars. 5 stars. Look at that. Tape this up real nice. Looks like it came in the exact way it was listed, which is, look at that. So we got the Marvel Collector Core Spider-Man here. This is the classic Spider-Man number 160 right there. There's the Collector Core, and there's the back right there. Collect the entire line of Marvel bobbleheads. So there you go. Pretty cool on that. That's a good pickup, and a little thank you note. Camilo. Go check out Camilo's store right there. That's where I ended up scooping up this pop for actually a pretty good price. So thank you so much, Camilo. Very nice of you to do that. Let's get this out of the way. Next, let's move on to the next eBay box we got over here. This one looks like it's the size of a pop. So I didn't even slice the tape. If you could tell, sometimes I don't slice the tape. I'll slice next to the tape on the cardboard because it still makes the perforation. It just, I won't make a strike through to the contact on the surface. You know what I'm saying? So as you can see, it still did that. And see, it overlapped, and like I said, I cut just a little bit past there. So a little tip from me to you: when you're cutting open pops, and you want to make sure you don't slice into them. Very nice. This person shipped this in a sorter, so that was very, very nice. All right, let's get this out of here. Let's see what we ended up getting in here. Oh. Oh, this is excellent. Ready for this? Nice. We got the LA Comic-Con exclusive Cosmic Ghost Rider. Check that out with little baby Thanos right there. This is an absolute sick pop. Wow. This is awesome. Wasn't expecting this fast. I ordered this like 3 days ago. So, boom. That's pretty sick. And we got classic Spider-Man right there to boot. We'll get the sorter out of the way. Now, I really hope this isn't what I think it is, which is 2 pops in 1 box, but we're going to find out. We're gonna find out, because half the box is crunched. And if 2 pops are in this 9x7x5, that means one of them is crushed. So it's like crush roulette. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely 2 in the same box. Okay, so I bought 2 Wolverines here. One is a gift for someone, and one is for me, and hopefully neither of them are damaged. Let's see what we ended up getting here. He looks really good, actually. Minty, so that's good. And this one, which was on the contact surface side, is another minty one. All right, good. So they're both minty, which is great. Wolverines look great. These are, what, 2019 releases right here. But we ended up getting Wolverine number 5 right here. These are the ones that they're selling on the Funko shop right now. I ended up scooping up a little bit better box than the one that I got from Larry. It got a little bit of tape on the side, but before the price on these end up going up, I wanted to make sure I got one that actually had a sturdy box. So because I do like my classic Marvel pops, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, definitely a great pickup on this, and I'm actually going to mail one of these over to Sin over at the Sin-Den as a little gift. I don't think he knows it's coming, but by the time this video airs, I'm sure he'll probably already have it. So next, let's move to the reason why you're here. We ended up getting Skeletor, and we got He-Man to unbox today. I figured I'd scoop up 2 of them, then scoop up the whole wave, because I don't even know like the quality of these. Mattel makes some pretty good toys, and they have in the past. So, I mean, how could it be bad, right? But what I'm going to do is actually try to slice all along this ridge here, because that's going to allow me to basically slide it back inside there. Let's see if we ended up. So that's how I like to store my figures. I do like to store them in the original blister if I have one that's opened and one that's unopened, because it's not like I have like a toy box where I slide all my toys in. but I definitely like to have my toys put back in their respected cases so that they can sit better, especially the ones with like inserts like this. Let me see, I did not cut this corner. Let's score that. Did we end up? Nope, we still did not get that corner. There we go. There we go. There we go. So now let's slide out He-Man. We'll check him out. And it also comes with, it said, a comic book. So that's pretty cool. We'll check that out as well. See if we can get that out. Sliding it underneath the blister pack. Now again, like I said, you could just, I mean, all I did was just slide my razor cutter all along the edge here to make a nice smooth seam. So I could just slide it back in. The corners what really gave me an issue for some reason, but you know, whatever. But anyway, I can slide it back in there, and they store nicely in these because it's the original packaging. It's better to have it all in one place than to have the boards somewhere else and then the figures somewhere else. So let's check out this comic book. We got Beast Barrage. I imagine this has something to do with Beast Man, so let's see. So we got Skeletor. You got, oh, there it is right there, first straight out the gate, Beast Man. Snake Mountain. There's Prince Adam. Oh, that is totally cool. I have the power. There we go. There's Beastman, Skeletor. Let's see, does it? No, I guess it doesn't continue. That's it. Oh, that's it. It's the whole issue is about four pages, so not too bad. That's a free comic. It's a pack-in. That's totally cool. I'm glad they did that. It's a neat little touch that they did. They didn't have to do that. They could have just done this, and that would have been it right there. So I think that should allow me to at least pull He-Man out. And he had some on his, some of his doodads on his legs too. So interesting. All right, so there's He-Man right there, which he has some weight to him actually. He has some weight to him. Surprisingly enough, I thought he would have been a little bit lighter, but he actually has some nice weight to him. A heavier toy always has a different type of feel in your hand because it may, I don't know, it gives it like this kind of, I don't know, has a different kind of feel in your hand. When you have something that's a little bit lighter, sometimes it comes to feel like it's a little bit cheaper maybe, I don't know. Cheaperly made, if you would. Cheaperly made, there we go. So we got He-Man's shield, we have the sword, and there's a battle axe. So that's pretty cool too. And it looks like it all clips back here behind the shield, which is pretty cool. And I guess you could choose. There's nope, I guess you're gonna have to pretty much choose between defense or offense when it comes to He-Man, because he only puts the shield in one hand, and I imagine you can't really hold anything in that hand. Yeah, you can't really, I mean, I don't know why they gave him that kind of a hand. Maybe it's for to hold a sword, which is weird because the sword's flat, actually. It doesn't have any texture on this side. It's like, that's cheaply made for sure. They could have at least done the pattern on one side. I know it's meant to, like, what, sit in the back of this, or sit there all compound up with the shield, but, I mean, yeah, I guess you could stick his sword in the back and not see that part, but, yeah, it's kind of weird that they did that, actually. I'm not really digging that. You kind of can't really put it in his hand, either, because his hand's all weirdly posed like he's playing a guitar. I mean, it literally looks like he's about to play a guitar. So yeah, very bizarre on that. The tools that they give you. See, I'm glad I didn't buy the whole wave, because I'm kind of disappointed with the little weapons here. I mean, I get it. You can put the axe, the sword in his hand, but it'd be nice if you could utilize two hands. Like, why give him this like deformed hand? I don't get that. That just doesn't. I don't know. Doesn't sit right with me, that's for sure. So here is me trying to put the sword in his hand, which is very interesting to see that, because it's not really round, it's like a flat, I'm trying to put like a flat piece in a round hole. Let's see what we got on the back here. So, fit the power sword into his hand, and then, twist into powerful battle positions, that's it. So fit the power sword into his hand is all it literally says. And it shows him in this picture holding the shield in this wonky hand. What the hell? It shows the shield in this wonky hand where he clearly has a grip on the shield, and with the other hand he's using to do a combat weapon. So, and then when you put this in his hand, it's like this is too far up on his forearm for it to be actually snug in his hand. So it actually doesn't fit on there. See that? Like, I mean, I guess you could jam it over there, but I don't want to. I mean, I guess he's kind of holding it, but not really, because look at his wrist. His wrist is all bent back. I don't know. Very, very, very bizarre tool set that they give you. So here's the sword in his hand. So it looks great from the front. So if you're only looking at it from the front, it looks great. But on the back, it has these two little prongs here for God knows what. And then I imagine it sits back here, but it doesn't actually sit snug. It just kind of slides into the thickest part, reaches the, yeah. I don't know. Not too happy with the He-Man so far. Hopefully Skeletor doesn't let me down. Hopefully there's a sword in there and there's a staff. I mean, look at it. They did both sides with the battle axe. They did both sides with the battle axe. They textured both sides. Why would they only do one side with the sword? It doesn't say that there's any type of special thing that he does, and the reason why that this sword even has a texture to it. The only thing I could think of is that it just, and I don't even know why you'd want that. Why would you want all this stuff to stack in here the way they had it? Like, I don't know. Like, why would you want all this stuff stacked in here? Like, why? Who cares if this stuff? What do you do? Does he like put this in a backpack or something? Like, this is him just running around with all of his stuff on his back. I mean, it's kind of foolish, to be honest with you. Why the heck did they make this thing? It's almost like I'm missing half the sword. Like, is there another half in the bag? It's almost like I'm missing half the sword. Like there's like another piece that's supposed to snap on here to make it complete. But it's just not there. Very interesting. Maybe there is something I'm missing. Maybe they didn't put half the sword on here and I am missing something. I don't know. Before we move on to Skeletor, why don't you let me know down in the comments below if you bought these Eternia sets, did your He-Man sword look like this, or was it a complete sword? Because, man, I'm really baffled right now. I don't know why they would do this. There's no roundness to the hole, the grip. I mean, yeah, I don't, like, you have to kind of put a flat piece in there. And, I mean, look at that gap underneath there. Like, that's very bizarre. And, I mean, he kind of holds it weird, too. Anyway, let's move on from the tools itself. The figure itself, let's see what kind of movement we got here with He-Man. Ball joints on the elbow are a little wonky. I mean, that's a little weird. It kind of moves in, like, very unnatural patterns. Like, at least they got the joint with the shoulder right, because that's, like, a movement of a normal shoulder, but, like, wow, like, that's all, like, I don't know. I don't know anybody who could do that, you know what I mean? Like, who does that with their arm? So that's a little bit wonky on the shoulder. I don't know why it has a pivot. It should just have a bowing motion like this, because that's really all you do. I mean, you know, curls are literally that, because you're building up your bicep and the tricep muscle on the other side. But like, yeah, I don't know, that unnatural movement right there with the twisting of the elbow, like, just defies all ligament properties. Wrist, I mean, even the wrist, like, full spins on the wrist. Very interesting on that. I mean, very loose wrist too. Huh, Mattel, what is going on? Look at that. Look how loose those wrists are, man. Anyway, legs. Man. Like, these ankles, like, definitely help it pose so you could stand them up, the ankles. That's the only thing it's got going for it. But, like, it's also got these spinning properties right above the booties. And I also noticed that, like, the leg has, like, this flesh flap. It goes over the knees. This is not a great review for these toys. But, like, I don't know. It just, like, the knees just move in, like, unnatural ways. You know what I mean? Some of the joints are very unnatural. And what is with this, like, flesh flap that's, like, over the knee? It's supposed to be, like, I don't know, some kind of a cover so you don't see the joint. But then, like, then they do, why isn't there a flesh flap on the elbow? Like, or a flesh flap on this shoulder? We're calling it a flesh flap, but his head does the 360, which isn't bad. At least he's got movement in his head. I don't know. And then, like, you got the torso twist, which is normal standard stuff on a figure. Leg wise, I mean, he basically could do an action shot kick, I guess, if you wanted him to, which is a little bit over, like, most figures. Sometimes they don't at least even give you the fact that you could, like, do some action figure actual positioning where, like, they're kicking or punching. So that's at least neat that they gave you that. So all in all, I mean, this one's a disappointment. The He-Man's a disappointment, which should be the most probably the most impressive one out of all of these should have been He-Man or Skeletor. So we're going to, I think, move on to Skeletor and see exactly, I mean, look at the way he has to hold this thing. It has to be like wrist all the way bent back so that we can get it on there. I mean, there's no way that's natural like that. There's no way that was made like that. I mean, look at the way his hands all laid out. It looks like he's about to go strum a guitar. I don't know. And plus, I don't like the fact that it has to rub on this orange paint every single time it snaps on there. It should be able to snap on the bicep, because it shouldn't have to snap. It actually isn't even meant to snap over this part with the orange paint. So, yeah, just a lot of complaints, I guess, for this particular figure. They stylized He-Man pretty good, even though he kind of has, I don't know, a Eurasian look to him, but he definitely has a different look to him than standard classic He-Man, because he's got these really high cheekbones. But we're not going to get into that right now. I'm just going to put him down, and we're going to move on to Skeletor, because this one was, I don't know, kind of a disappointment, honestly. Like, the sword is his most iconic thing, and they gave me half of one. So, yeah, I mean, that straight up. And I think the only reason why it's half is so that, like I said, all this stuff could just stack in here. Like, let me see how much room is actually in there once they're stacked, because maybe they actually forgot to put a part in here. I don't even know. The fact that I'm even asking if they forgot to put a part in here is a problem, straight out the gate. So, yeah, I mean, it looks to me like I think they honestly did forget a piece. I don't know. There's a lot of loose parts. Yeah, a lot of loose parts in between that. No, maybe not. Actually, it's actually pretty tight. It's actually quite tight. Yeah. So I don't know. I really don't know what the heck's going on with this sword. I think it's very, very poorly engineered the way that they did that sword. They did the full on with the axe. Why wouldn't they do that with the sword? That's why I feel like I'm missing something. But again, like the fact that I have to even say like, oh, I think I'm missing something is a problem. Let's just say that, okay? Next, we're going to move on to Skeletor, which hopefully is not a disappointment. It's like, I mean, we don't want the Lord of Destruction to be a disappointment here. You know what I mean? So, needless to say, He-Man, I don't know, man. I really don't. I honestly don't, because I'm kind of disappointed in He-Man at this point. Which is sad, because I thought he was going to be probably, like I said, I thought he was going to be like the most impressive one out of all of them. So, which, the sword, man, the sword, it's the most iconic accessory, and they botched it. They botched the sword. The battle axe is cool. I mean, his other hand needs to be like an actual hand, not some kind of like splayed finger. I can't grip anything. I don't know. It would have kind of been cool if I could put the sword in one hand and maybe the battle axe in the other hand. I mean, I don't know. Frustrating nonetheless. And it looks like we almost have the same comic, so I don't even know. Again, with the He-Man sword, let me know down in the comments below, but also let me know if you got the same comic in all your figures, because this looks like it's the same exact one that we just looked at. So they give you the same comic. So if you buy the whole set, which they know people are going to do, you got 6 of the same comic, which is awesome, right? A great free packing item, yes, I agree, but it would have been neat if they might have done a different one maybe for each figure, or maybe took all 6 figures and make one storyline and chop it up into 6 parts and distribute all 6 parts to all the figures, so the completionist could put all 6 comics together and maybe read them as one piece. But no, they didn't do that either. They gave you 6 of the same damn comic. So yeah, this is another reason why you see a lot of Funko Pops on this particular channel, because they're extremely consistent. As much as everyone likes to complain about Funko and their products, they're very consistent with their products. They don't really deviate from the same thing. I mean, that's probably the thing that people hate about them the most, is the fact that they're consistently like, we're going to do a common, then we're going to take that common, make it a metallic, glow-in-the-dark, flocked, or something else. They're consistent with that, yes, absolutely, and people complain about that all the time, but I'd rather take that than have stuff like this. I mean, we got flesh flaps on Skeletor as well, which, getting into this straight out the gate, I'm not too, you know, it's not too promising what's going on here, so, not too promising. These flesh flaps are really kind of creeped me out a little bit, to be honest with you, because they only did it on the knees, which is, I don't know. Let's get this stuff off Skeletor and see what we got going on here. And all of Eternia, what do we got going on here? All right, so we got Skeletor with some kind of like battle armor garb on, which I guess you can take it off, and it does have these adjustable straps so you can crank him down, which is sick, because that's how the classic figure ones were, which is really nice. So I definitely dig that. Compared to this one to He-Man, let's compare the two. No crank down feature, but it does have the snap off, so you could take it off, which I don't really know why you'd want to take that off anyway, especially on either one of these. And let's see how hard this is to get. Pretty easy to get back on. I don't know why you'd want to take that off on either one of these, because it's like there's their natural costume. So I don't know. The crank down feature is a classic retro thing that I definitely, straight out the gate when I saw that, I was like, that's a nice attention to detail. So one strike in the positive comment for sure on these figures is that little latch down feature like they used to have. We got full rotation on the arms here. We still got the same weird joints that He-Man had, so we can't really accost them too much because we've already seen it on the other one. But here's what you would see basically if you didn't have the flesh flap over the joint. So see that flesh flap right there is what I'm talking about? You would basically see that if you didn't have the flesh flap. So that makes me wonder like why they didn't maybe put a little bit of a flesh flap over here to stop the wrist from getting too crazy. Like, why do you don't need his wrist to do that in this type of figure? And if you would have put a flesh flap on the elbow, you could have stopped it from doing these unnatural motions and just kept it a straight, like a bicep curl. You know what I'm saying? But I guess this makes you be able to pose him in unnatural positions. I don't know why you'd want to do that. Anyway, Skeletor has a little bit of a better grip in his right hand versus how He-Man had it. You can kind of see He-Man kind of just has his like splayed out, where Skeletor kind of has like some kind of a grip kind of formed. See He-Man's kind of doing like a C, but he's got a little bit of a tighter grip on his. So it looks like he might actually be able to hold, oh, that's where the other half of the sword is. Well, that makes sense, no? Because it's got the holes in it. That's where the other half of the sword is. So that's even more weird because it makes you buy two of these to have the complete sword, but they still gave you the same damn comic. So now it's like, now they're like laughing. Now they're like laughing because they gave you the same comic, but they gave you half a sword in each package. So you had to buy both of these to get the complete sword, which is crazy, but it's cool to see it. They don't even tell you that. You just have to kind of figure this out. They should have put another snap here towards the end because there's a lot of gap right there. But you just kind of have to figure this out. And again, if you buy the He-Man one, it's not complete. You have to buy the Skeletor one to get the sword. So that is something I wasn't expecting at all, honestly. And I was really bummed before about getting like half a sword. So if I didn't actually pick up Skeletor and I picked up Beastman because I saw him there too, like what would have happened? I'd have half a sword right now. I mean, come on, this is so nuts. All right, we got Skeletor here with Skeletor's staff, which actually looks pretty good. I mean, he looks pretty good. Even his paint app on his face looks pretty good. The hood looks all right on Skeletor. He kind of looks like an old woman. They could have made it look a little more menacing. He kind of looks like an old woman right now with that hood on. You know, like he's walking to the store or something. But yeah, I don't know. Something about him is a little bit off, but he looks all right. His feet, they did the feet right on everything with the booties. I mean, he still got the same kind of anklets. Do they have a twist over there? Yep, they got a twist right there, so you can get him in unnatural movements, which is great. You know, you got your weird deformed calf Skeletor right there. Let's see how he stands just straight up regular. Stands all right. Does the staff touch the ground? Can we get the staff to touch the ground and him hold it? Let's see. Nope, doesn't look like the staff touches the ground. It's like literally at the last string for it, because you have to be able to have it in there at a certain angle, and there's only a certain angle. The more you put the arm down, the more the angle gets lost. So you actually can't stand up the staff on the ground, so that's interesting. But yeah, I mean, mediocre by design. He's got the same loincloth as He-Man. And this part, I imagine, it cranks down, but you could take that off as well. I don't know. If you want to take the battle armor off, I guess, and they just fight shirtless, you could do that. But let's see what he does with the sword. If he holds the sword pretty good, at least, compared to... I mean, you can't even really hold this. You can't even really hold it right. So that's him holding the sword right there. Pretty crazy. Let's see what he does with this left hand. The wonky left hand. Nope, he didn't hold the sword in the left hand. The fingers just don't want to go in that hole in the left hand. So yeah, very interesting on this. This is kind of a disappointment, honestly. I'm glad I didn't buy the whole set. That's one thing I'm actually not disappointed in, is the fact that I didn't succumb to buying the entire wave. Yeah, now that I'm looking at these, I could see that all these are going to have probably the same problem. Except for Evelyn, she's probably going to be all right. Tila's probably going to be all right too, because the big bulky guys seem to have issues with the joints, and then they have these weird unnatural movements. But the thinner, slender figures like Tila and Evelyn, I mean, I don't know. I'm not even going to buy them to check them out, honestly. I think this little like flesh flap is a little creepy, and they probably shouldn't have put that on this particular figure. I think that's a little weird, personally. So, and it's on both figures, probably all of them. So yeah. My other complaint was the fact you have to get you get half the sword with Skeletor and half the sword with He-Man. See, it actually shows you in this like you have a silver sword for He-Man and a purple sword for Skeletor. Not that they're one and the same, and you have to have both to make the sword complete, which is each sold separately, subject to availability. Colors and decorations may vary. So there's their little legal disclaimer for not getting sued for giving you half a sword. So anyway, just let me know down in the comments below what you thought of these Mattel Masters of the Universe Eternia wave of figures. And what do you think of my Wolverine pickups, Cosmic Ghost Rider, and Spider-Man from the Collector Corps? You know me and my Collector Corps pops. I love collecting the Collector Corps pops. I have a subscription to Collector Corps now, and now that they didn't cancel it. So you'll be seeing a lot of that Collector Corps drops on the channel, that is for sure. So let me know down in the comments below which one was your favorite from today, and what do you think about these Motu figures. Kind of a disappointment for me, but why don't you let me know your opinion down in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Want more content like this, subscribe for more, because I do reviews every single day, so look out for that, and have a great rest of your day.